Hello there. Greetings, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're listening from around the world. A wonderful and special greeting to all of you. I have been commenting in recent times on some of the various critics of different religious groups as found on the YouTube platform. I, in one previous video, made reference to Mr. Winston Gillen out of Montego Bay, Jamaica, and the way he built his entire channel on this YouTube platform with the subject or the title Watchtower Examinations. And so his aim is to critique the Watchtower publications and the Watchtower Society. In his video 960, where he delved into the matter of disfellowshipping, or what he called shunning. Now, it's interesting that Mr. Gillen, Winston, said he is a former Seventh-day Adventist, which means that he should be versed in the Mosaic law, the religion of his choice is strongly based in the Mosaic law arrangement, irrespective of his view of its transition into the Christian arrangement. Now, under the Mosaic law, wrongdoers, as Jehovah's Witnesses would say, the things for which people in ancient times under the Mosaic law would be stoned to death is the same things for which people today are disfellowshipped and shunned. Now, he is particularly critiquing the aspect of disfellowshipping where relatives shunned disfellowshipped members. But then I wonder if Winston is forgetting that under the Mosaic law, when a member of a family commits certain acts of wrongdoing, then the first stone of death would be cast on that person, even if it's a child, by the parents. The parents would cast the first stone of death and watch that child stoned to death for disobedience, for not following instructions, and I guess Winston would know the rest of it. Under what is called the Christian arrangement, since the Christian arrangement speaks to an end of the Mosaic era, then the new arrangement is no longer that people be stoned to death, but that people be expelled, be disfellowshipped, and be shunned. No one can read the scriptures without knowing that that is a Bible teaching. Now, Winston and the Seventh-day Adventists are not what the witnesses refer to themselves as Bible students. Long before Jehovah's Witnesses were called Jehovah's Witnesses, they were called Bible students, and they were called themselves Bible students because of their strict adherence to the Bible. Now, whether or not that's how it's supposed to be or that's the right thing, that's not what I am here to judge. I am just here to, put my little thoughts together, as we would say, my 2 cents worth into the arrogance and ignorance that's been expressed by Winston Gillen on this matter of disfellowshipping. It's not a matter of whether I agree with it or disagree with it, but the fact is, no one can read the Bible, whether Old Testament or New Testament and escape that principle. There are some persons today who love to belong to a religion that is free for all. You can do as you like with impunity. Common sense would dictate that no arrangement can work that way. In the police force, police get kicked out because of contravening the dress code, the rules and regulations of the security force. Soldiers serving in the military are kicked out. Some are disciplined. They're not always kicked out. Some are disciplined, but others are kicked out. And there is a reason why some are kicked out while some are disciplined. It means the gravity of the situation is considered. You know, in Islamic states, people are still being stoned to death or put to death by other means for disobedience. So, harsh discipline taken against members of an organization is not a new thing. So, where a person, for example, whether he's Adventist or Catholic or any other of the Christian religion, can do just about any and everything, and whether the religion agree with it or not, the person is still in good stead, is not a biblical principle. It's not a biblical thing. There are many wishy-washy religions that do not endorse or embrace the principles taught in the scriptures. But it's a known fact for a very long time that the vast majority of Christian religions do not adhere to the Bible. That's a fact. They do not adhere to the Bible, you know. So I just want to say, in defense of the stance that the witnesses take on disfellowshipping and shunning, that it's biblical. I don't have to agree with it. You don't have to agree with it, but it's biblical. It's a biblical stance. And the code of ethics that people violate to be disfellowship are many and varied. There are a number of scriptures in the New Testament that speaks to shunning people who don't live up to expectations and who, as they say, are unrepentant. So if there is one thing the witnesses get right, it's that one. Winston, get it in your head. You don't have to like it. It doesn't matter how sanctimonious you put your face. You simply don't follow the principles stated in the scriptures. So you should be taking a second look on your stance, whether you're a Christian or not. But disfellowshipping and shunning of disfellowship persons is clearly taught in the scriptures, and you can't get around it. You don't have to like it. I don't have to like it. You don't have to agree with it. I don't have to agree with it. But it doesn't change the subject. If you are going to follow what is recorded and taught in the Bible, you got to follow that one too, because it is there many, many places. I heard the guy on Watchtower Defense pointing out a number of scriptures to you, telling you the grounds for it, and you are asking which of these did Raymond France violate. But he didn't have to violate any in that particular passage. But it was enough to say, as Raymond France himself said, that he has had enough of the organization and he walked away from it. So once a person decides to walk away from the organization and now begin to contravene the rules of the organization, then that measure of discipline is going to be meted out to them. Raymond France, I like Raymond France. I hope to get his book someday. And I don't necessarily agree with everything he says, but I like Raymond France. But of course, Raymond France is nothing like Winston, though. Raymond France, if you had asked him about the whole matter of disfellowshipping, he would give you another picture of it. So if you're critiquing the way certain things are handled in the organization, that's fine. Everybody have a right to do that. But don't give the impression as if to say that disfellowshipping and shunning ought to be one of them. It is not. That is a clear Bible teaching. If you don't agree with the Bible's teaching on that, say so. But don't make it look as if it is some act of stupidity or wickedness on the part of that organization for embracing it. Okay, this is start there. In another video of mine, I highlighted the fact that if people who adhere to the Bible are going to live in a secular world, they are going to have problems because the laws and the rules of secular world societies are different from those recorded in the Bible. And so each one have a choice whether they're going to go with the secular world and hobnob on a few fringe edges things that does not conflict. That's what most Christian religion does. But if you're going to be a strict adherent, or if you're going to adhere strictly to the Bible, you're going to have problems in the secular world because the standards are different. How to adapt what is in the Bible to secular world societies? Well, that's a discussion that everybody need to have. But it is very clear that the Bible was not written to please the fancies of those who like this or don't like that. It's either you agree with what is in there or you disagree with it. And if you want to agree with part and not part, say so. But those persons who feel that they're adhering to that part of it, don't make it look as if they're just stupid to do so. It is taught in the Bible. So if you like the Bible, accept that, claim that one too, because that is in there. I am not here to teach religion or even to teach the Bible. I have my own opinion on both. I can see where both are doing things that make sense and some does not seem to make sense, but it's not for me to decide what makes sense or not. Neither is it for you. So whether you like disfellowshipping or you don't like it, doesn't matter how sanctimonious you put your face. That doesn't change the subject. It is one of those doctrines in the Bible that is clearly taught, and you either accept it or reject it. It's not a rejection of the witnesses, the governing body, or the Watchtower defense team. No, it's a clear policy in the Bible, Winston. You either agree or you disagree. Do you disagree with the parents in Moses' time or under the Mosaic law who pelt the first stone or cast the first stone of death on their child? You disagree with that? You might, and you have your right to disagree, but the fact is it's taught in the Bible. And if you were to give me a choice between being stoned to death and be expelled or shunned by relatives and friends, I might have chosen the latter. I don't know which you would choose, or I don't know if you disagree that that is taught in the Bible, Winston. What do you think? So you can critique things, but you must be reasonable. You must be reasonable. The Bible is there. And as I've said before, I don't think you can make a career of critiquing everything somebody does without, pointing to some solutions. Because what's the point? How do you propose that wrongdoers be treated? How do you propose that? What are your scriptural basis for how it is to be done? So just criticizing one set without saying exactly what should be done, which video you have that says how it should be done and what are the scriptural basis for it? I look forward to some feedback from those who view this video. I want to encourage you to share the video, and Winston should hear it. Winston should hear it because this is a direct reply to his video 960. Until the next time, so long.